Life very very less, and the most challenging challenge in front of even the companies also, not only the academic institute, because in company also you are giving some skills to your manpower and suddenly some new technology is coming, so lot of learning relearnings are happening. So now the most challenging part is that it has came to 2 years now, particularly in the ITs and this area. Whatever the relevance today may not be valid after 2 years, and they have to learn the new things. So uh, when the students are admitted, the technologies are entirely different, and when they are passing out, entirely it is different. So if the reshuffling of the curriculum and if the industries are also not aligning, then very difficult for us to make the manpower ready to take these challenges. So these are challenges in front of industry as well as the academic institute. And in the future, even the experts are saying it may come to 6 months also. Every 6 months, the new technology may come, and that will really impose the challenge on. So how to go with that? That is our main agenda of this today's discussion. So I am thankful to all the panel member for finding your time, and we are very eager to listen to your expert thought on this particular panel discussion. And thanks to the Department of School of Engineering and Technology of Sanjivani University for making this event possible, in which a lot of experts panelists are there to share their thoughts on this particular topic. Thank you. Thank you, Kavita ma'am and your team.
Thank you. Thank you. Saidi, go ahead.
Yes, you were very right about this evolving technologies and AI. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights. Now let us move ahead. Now let us move towards the heart of today's session, our global expert panel. It is my honor to introduce our first special guest, Mr. Suryansh Rana, co-founder and CEO of Ethena AI. He is working at the forefront of AI innovation, building large-scale data sets from LLM fine-tuning and developing AI-native enterprise solutions. With a strong engineering background from UCLA, he is actively contributing towards bridging the gap to artificial general intelligence. We extend a heartfelt welcome to you, sir. And also a special thanks to the co-founder of Ethera AI and Kubera AI, Mr. Mahan Aryanam Sindhia. Though he is not here with us today, we are really thankful for all the things you have done for us and your team. Now, thanking you both so much for accepting our invitation and gracing this event with your presence. It truly means a lot to us, and we are eagerly looking forward to gaining valuable insights from your experience and knowledge on new technologies. Along with our special guests, we are also privileged to have an esteemed panel of experts who will share their valuable insights during today's discussion. Let me first introduce you all to our very first expert, Mrs. Shanthi. Mrs. Shanthi is an advisor in digital engineering and quality at HCL Tech with over 35 years of extensive industry experience across enterprise technology, analytics, and digital transformation. She has held leadership roles at Cognizant, including Associate Director, Metrics Analytics and Reporting, driving large scale program management and business aligned analytics solutions. Her expertise span artificial intelligence, quality engineering, and data driven decision making. With a strong focus on enabling future ready skills in AI, cloud, and digital technologies. We welcome you, ma'am. Next, I have the honor to please introduce our next guest, that is Mr. Rajendra Giri. Mr. Rajendra Giri is a database specialist solution architect at Amazon Web Service AWS Singapore with 18 plus years of experience in enterprise database systems and cloud technologies. He has worked with leading organizations such as AWS, UBS, and HCL, specializing in designing and managing large scale database solutions across Oracle, SQL Server, AWS RDS, Aurora, and MongoDB. His expertise include cloud architecture, high availability system, and data-driven enterprise solution. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Next, introducing you all to Miss Shametha. Ms. Shametha is a software engineer at JP Morgan Chase and Co. With strong expertise in backend development and cloud technologies, she is gold medalist and alumni icon awardee and a winner of multiple national and international hackathons, including securing top ranks in large-scale AI competitions. An AI certified cloud practitioner, she specializes in building impactful real world solutions using Java, AWS, and modern development framework. Ms. Shamitha ma'am, we are glad to have you with us here today. Thank you so much for your presence. Next, let me introduce you all to our next expert, Dr. Raghuvanshi. We are honored to have you with us, Dr. Raghuvanshi sir, Dean at MIT University, a distinguished academician and leader with extensive experience in higher education with 20 plus years of experience in academic leadership and research. He holds a PhD in computer science and has published over 45 research papers and 15 plus patents in areas such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and computer vision. An innovation ambassador certified by the Ministry of Education, he actively promotes research, entrepreneurship, and technology driven learning ecosystems. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence. Next, let me have the privilege to introduce to all to our next expert, Mr. Henrich. Mr. Henrich is the founder and CEO of Gen Lab Private Limited and a TEDx speaker leading a next generation AI-driven startup ecosystem focused on innovation, branding, and incubation. With experience working with organizations such as Deloitte, Sarthi AI, and the Airport Authorities of India. He specializes in AI-driven systems, product strategy, and startup growth. He has mentored over 20,000 plus students across India, empowering them to build real-world products and become entrepreneurs in the AI-driven economy. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We are truly honored to have all the experts with us today. Next, I would also like to hand over today's session to take this discussion forward. I would like to invite our respected Dr. Kavita Rani, ma'am, Dean School of Engineering and Technology at Sanjivani University, with over 25 years of experience in computer science and engineering, an IEEE member and AICTE Leelavati Award winner 2022. She actively promotes industry, academia collaboration, research, and innovation while guiding PhD scholars and contributing to academic excellence. She will be moderating this panel discussion and interacting with our esteemed expert. Ma'am, stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Saili. Thank you very much. So thanks for your wonderful introduction of all the panelists. Once again, a very warm welcome to all distinguished guests, respected panelists, and enthusiastic participants. So, we are here to explore a question that is shaping our future of every industry, of every professional, that is AI workforce revolution, a job crisis or innovation boom. So, as you know, artificial intelligence is no longer a proof of concept, right? It is a reality of today, from automation to decision making, and AI transforming is how we work, how we will learn, how we innovate. So, to while some view of threat of jobs right now, currently in the industry of AI, so others see it as a catalyst of new opportunities, and it is a creativity, and it is obviously an economic growth. So, the key question remains here: are we heading towards this widespread job displacement, or we are witnessing the birth of entire new industries and roles? The discussion begins even more important for educators like us, students for our university and over the globe, and professionals who are navigating this transition. Let us dive into the important discussion. As we begin, let us remember one thing: every technological revolution brings uncertainty, but it also brings opportunity. The future belongs to those who are prepared to adapt. To set the stage, I would like to begin with our special invitee, Mr. Surya Rana sir. So, in this context of AI workforce revolution, should today tech graduates genuinely worry about job loss or focus on emerging opportunities? And what practical steps should they take right now to stay employable? Over to you, sir.
Absolutely. Firstly, thank you, Dr. Kavita, for having us here today. And very interesting topic for conversation that you guys have struck up. To sort of start the answer, I want to say that number one, this is the era of the 10x developer, the 10x engineer, the 10x doctor, right? And yes, AI is, impacting a lot of the white collar jobs out there, right? Pretty much every industry is going through a very big revolution right now, right? But that is not to say that it is displaced jobs. Right? I think that statement is very incorrect. Simply because similar to the advent of the internet, right? It didn't displace jobs, rather it made people more similar to the advent of the smartphone, right? It didn't displace jobs; it made people even busier. And now with the advent of artificial intelligence, um, and I can see this firsthand, right? Jobs are becoming more and more efficient, which we call the 10x era. So in today's day and age, where artificial intelligence is pervading every nook and corner of every white collar job, it is imperative that people skill themselves on how to leverage this technology, advance themselves in their fields of whatever it may be, right? Um, with respect to understanding how to keep up with the rapid advancement in artificial intelligence in your fields, it's super important to have a passion to understand where artificial intelligence is headed, specifically in your domain. Obviously, general knowledge is always good to have, but the special knowledge, the special domain expertise is very, very important to keep up with. Whether it is an engineer, whether it's a developer, whether it's a lawyer, or whether it's a doctor, right? There are massive advancements happening in every field, right? I'll take an example of, let's say, Anthropic, right, which is a frontier lab in the US, in Silicon Valley, who's very famous for deploying models like Claude Sonnet, Claude Opus, right? Our customers who are all residing in the US, who are all these large language model builders, they expect us to do 6 months of work in less than 6 weeks, right? How is that possible? Why are they having such expectations? It's because of the power of artificial intelligence, right? Because AI has enabled such rapid efficiency gains in these industries, especially I'm talking about, let's say, coding, for instance, right now. Because of the advent of Claude Code, Codex, and stuff AI, AI IDEs, we are able to write code at almost superhuman speed. What took a developer a month, maybe not even a developer, maybe a team of 10 developers to build in a month, now takes a team of two developers less than 3 days to build from end to end. The key feature here, or the key skill here, right, apart from obviously all the foundational knowledge that you gain in engineering, the key skill here is prompt engineering, right? And prompt engineering specifically in the domains that you are looking to become an expert in. So it is how you guide the model, how you steer the model, how you're able to ask follow up questions really determines how your efficiency gains are going to compare to your peers in today's era of artificial intelligence. So there's nothing to worry about if, as long as you are keeping up with the pace. But that itself is also not very easy to do, because as VC sir mentioned, every 6 months there's a new technology. VC sir, let me also tell you that it is not 6 months anymore; it's almost 6 weeks. Right? We are reading research papers over here every single day. There is a platform called Archive where a lot of these research papers are published. To give you an understanding of the pace of research in this field right now, every month there are approximately 28,000 research papers published globally on artificial intelligence, which means that every nook and corner of this world is looking to advance AI in their own ways. Which is the right path, which is, the most optimal way to move forward, that only time will tell. But the way things are going, you'll know very, very soon. Right? So that's my 2 cents to start with. uh, Thank you so much. Over.
Yeah, thank you so much. As you rightly point, the 10x era, and moreover, and unless you are passionate towards any technology, we can't drive into it, and it's we need a special domain expertise. I do agree. Thank you so much for your wonderful explanation towards the question. So moving on to Shanthi Venkatraman, ma'am, as one close friend of mine also. So putting forward a question to you, at a global scale, like HCL Technologies, are entry-level job roles being eliminated, or are the expectation for a junior developer just being raised to include AI proficiency? Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, very good morning to all, and it gives me immense pleasure to be part of this eminent panel, CEOs, VCs, and others. Thank you so much for having me here. In fact, Dr. Kavita, intuitively, I can tell you that our hiring has gone up by 2.6% after the AI era, year on year, right? It is only going up, it's not going down. So entry level jobs are not at that, but I really like the way, Suryansh also put it across, right? It's all about, what should students do to be there, to be job ready, not just in the IT industry or everywhere, right? So instead of getting distracted about AI will remove my job, that worry, what can I do to scale? See, when COVID came in, none of us who are alive today got scared about it, right? We acted on it. So we have to act on what we can do to survive in the AI era, and we have to be strong on the domain. I think that is a very brilliant point he made, because AI sits on top of that domain and fundamental knowledge, Dr. Kavita, right? So from school onwards, whatever subjects you are passionate about, let us learn it thoroughly. Let us understand basics. Let us understand what is happening around the world. So many avenues are there today, Dr. Kavita, right? And AI not only at a junior level or entry level, even a lateral entry, even if you are a faculty, a lawyer, a doctor, everybody should have the knowledge of AI, also know how to responsibly apply it. I think that how not to apply it is a more increased knowledge that every professional should have and every hiring should have. And I also wanted to just comment on the point that Suryan spoke about customers' expectation in terms of cycle time reductions, right? but there are only certain cases where they expect, right? I always say this as a joke. You need 9 months to deliver a baby and one lady. It cannot be done by nine ladies in 1 month. That that productivity can never be achieved by AI, and this clarity only a human can have. AI cannot have that clarity. So even at an entry level, I know customers are asking. We are also getting pushed, but there is always something that something called as an effort estimation, duration estimation. I think many people have forgotten that duration estimation, saying that by increasing effort the duration cannot be crunched, and that is why a lot of our deliverables are out of quality, Dr. Kavita. That you build a bridge or you build a product, it fails immediately because it is not given the required time that it has to take to come out to the market, right? So I think those are the two things. So yes, to your point, entry level jobs are not in threat, provided the student is trustworthy enough that the company can run with them for a long time. The ethics integrity is always at the core of any hiring process, as well as the domain knowledge. AI is an adjacent skill that everybody has to take. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As you've given a commitment, so entry level job is not a big issue now. So I think the audience, the students who are here, will be getting a confidence enough of their job as well. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Provided, sorry, madam, provided they also adhere to whatever other things I said, right? So they have to be strong on what they study. Don't get distracted saying something is coming and lose on what you have to. You do your job, no? Let AI come, something come. Like he rightly, Suryan said, I just wanted to take that 6 weeks, or it may soon, as we speak in 6 minutes, technology can change also. But
Yeah.
you be adaptable, you be at your core strong. No, nobody can replace you if you are strong and passionate about what you do. I just wanted to add that also, madam.
Very
Sorry to
true.
interrupt.
Very true. Very true. Thank you so much, ma'am. So moving forward to Rajendra Giri. I'm putting question to you. As you are into the AWS cloud and AI as an architect, what combination of cloud plus AI skills should students focus for the future jobs? Please, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the invite. It's really an honor to be here. Just for my introduction, I'm Rajendra. I'm a solution architect with AWS. So, before answering the question, like in my day to day here in my role, I don't look at the codes or I don't look at the servers and all. And I'm working with a lot of large enterprise here in this region to figure out how cloud and AI can actually solve their biggest business headaches. uh, so now looking at the title of your event, like AI Workforce Revolution. So I know there is a lot of AI anxiety out there. Students are asking, will there be a job for them? Uh, Maybe teachers asking that they should be even be teaching anymore and all. But like what Shuryan says and Shanti ma'am says that uh, I totally agree with it. So we see this not as a crisis of replacement, but as an explosion of opportunity. Actually, we are moving from a world where you had to type a code to a world where you actually architecting the solution using natural language. So today, I want to move past the hype. I want to share the ground reality of what you are seeing in Singapore, Tech, or even across the world. What skills actually you got uh, to get hired, how agentic AI changing your data centers, uh, and why this responsible AI is not just a buzzword, but it is actually required. So, question like what kind of cloud or AI skills students should focus for the future jobs? So, like when I talk to the customer here in AWS, they don't just ask for AI model. Actually, they ask for a solution that scale. So, for a student, the biggest mistake is focusing only on the brain, like the AI, and forgetting the body, which is like the cloud and any other infrastructure thing, right? So think of it like a brilliant engine is useless without the chassis, wheels, fuel systems. So in our world, the MLOps, you need to know how to take a model from a laptop and make it runs for million of users using services which different cloud vendors are running, right? My advice, don't just learn how to prompt a bot, learn data engineering. So AI is kind of data free. It is running on the top of all data. So if you can build a key data pipeline in cloud or in any of the infrastructure, are infinitely more employable than someone who just know how to use an API or how to use a AI model, right? So focus on being a cloud native AI builder, someone who understand how the plumbing like storage, security, and compute, to solve the intelligence. So learning a particular tag or particular AI model is definitely important. Like there are a lot of certification, a lot of different courses, some free, some are paid, is available. But that is not all. You need to adapt to the conditions in the market. You need to learn the basics. You need to learn overall data engineering, which is a backbone of AI, since AI is running on data actually. So that's what I believe the answer for this one. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, wonderfully said. Like as you said, AI model solution. The students have to be very good in ML ops and API and data engineering. Thanks, thanks a lot for that. And moving towards to the other question to Shubham sir, a senior manager in Ethena at AA, and he is very close to our university also. So thank you for accepting our invite, sir. So this is a question to you. As someone managing an AA, okay, how do you distinguish between a tool that provides a real business value and the one that is just a wrapper around the basic LLM? So that is actually LLM is your core domain. So I thought like I could put this question towards you, please. Sir.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So, coming to your question, so basically the real value of a tool versus LLM wrappers, right? So, what in today's ecosystem, I feel is like a lot of tools are essentially wrappers, right? Over existing LLM, so differentiation comes down to outcomes, not technology. So, when I say that API is being wrapped, right? So we need to just see like what exactly that API is solving a real business problem, right? So at the end of the day, we build tools based on three things. Does it solve a real business problem? Does it improve efficiency or quality measurably? Can it scale reliably in production, right? So these are the three things which we see. And also like, to be honest, I will only say that if you remove the AI from your system and it is still giving the same output, right? So in that case, I would say that like the tool which you are using, that is for the AI system which you are using, that is not giving much value there. So if a tool is just repackaging an API without improving accuracy, reducing cost, or solving domain-specific problem, it's a hype. I guess
Understood. Yes, yes, sir. So rightly pointed out, like for a scalable, reliable product development. So whatever you said is absolutely fits into it. Thank you so much, sir.
Can I,
So
Doctor,
yeah,
can I add my 2 cents to that?
yes, yes, please, please, please.
So, firstly, I don't think there's anything wrong with rappers, right?
Mm,
I think what we all need to understand is that LLMs essentially are tools, right? LLMs are nothing but just text emitters. You
mm,
get a prompt, you get a very cohesive response, right? It's actually how you now leverage this tool to make an impact in the real world, right? To give you an example, we all know Google, right? Google is one of the big tech companies, probably the biggest tech company out there, right? But what is it? What is Google? Actually, a wrapper on the internet. It's a search engine that wrapped up the entire internet and provided convenience to people globally to make search more convenient, right? Similarly, Rajendra is also here, but AWS. What is AWS? It is a wrapper around compute. It's allowing people to access cloud, right? Which, if not, you would have to set up your own server rooms, which doesn't make any sense, right? So it's providing convenience. So wrappers are not something to look down upon. In fact, wrappers are essentially what have enabled applications to be built, right? And humans to interact with these cutting edge technologies. So I actually encourage people to build because it is only by building these wrappers that technology can actually be distributed and made available to humans, right?
Okay, that was wonderful lineup with the Shubham. Thank you so much, sir. So moving forward to one of my favorite, Shamitha. So thank you, Shamitha, for accepting my invite and being here today. So your question is like slightly away from the technology, what we were discussing about here. So how was your daily life as an FDE changed in last 12 months? Are you writing less code or you're spending more time reviewing AI generated code? So hope this question will be suitable to you.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, and thank you for having me as a panelist, ma'am. It's great to see you again. So, coming to the question, I am a software engineer working in one of the biggest banks of the world. And in today, there are two aspects for this. First aspect is how effective I am writing the code, and the code that I am writing, is it good to be productionized? Because the value of my code getting productionized is going to impact the lives of many. So that is the importance of the code that I write. Now, second, how to leverage the AI into my coding skills. So how all of the big tech firms today are doing is they always encourage their developers to leverage AI. And how I see AI is not a competition to developers but an enabler. It enables you to write code more faster, debug more faster, come up with more edge case scenarios and all of that very faster. But how human beings are interacting with AI is we don't write as much code as we used to before. We write less code. We prompt more. At the same time, the supervision comes when I'm reviewing AI generated code, when I'm checking if the edge cases are covered or not, if the security features are in place or not. If I'm doing like a database transaction or stuff, I'm overseeing if that is done properly. All these things are that's where human intervention comes with AI especially. And apart from all of that, one thing that separates human beings from AI, I think a few of our panelists were also mentioning, is the decision making that we do. It could be about architectural designs, it could be about the business aspect of it. For example, an AI can have the context of all of the code that I have. Today, I think all of the AI agents that are there, they have the capability to have the context of the entire code base that I have. But what about the business aspect of it? How is the financial aspect of it impacting the code that I write? Is it in line with the SLAs that my product owner has with our stakeholders? This is where the human intervention is very important, I feel like. And also, if the person doesn't have the core technical understanding, then it is very difficult to use AI as well, because in a lot of cases we see there is hallucinations happening. We try to fix a bug at one place, but that induces a different bug at a different place altogether. So all of these has to be taken into consideration, and this can be resolved when the developer is enabled, has the core technology knowledge, and they are able to communicate with AI as well. But another quote that comes to my mind is when Satya Nadella said that English is the most hottest programming language currently. So you need to be able to know how to prompt, how to use AI in your daily work, but at the same time, it shouldn't affect your work or degrade or slow you down. Even that is another case that I feel like. So yeah, that is what my perspective is in an everyday life. This is how much AI can contribute to me. We are definitely writing less code, but the communication we have with stakeholders, business partners, financial decision making, or as simple as giving an update to my scrum master, it is where I come into picture, where I have to talk. So that's the influence of AI in my life.
Wonderfully said, like as you are binding with the AI as well. So though you are writing a less code and you are very careful in doing the things because the stakeholders matters a lot, right? So it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
So if I can just have one point of
Yeah,
view,
yeah.
Dr.
For sure.
Kavita to what Shametha said. I think she answered it brilliantly. It's experiential AI usage, right? So I would also add, Shametha, that AI suggests all of us know is based on a database of references that AI uses, right? So the number of use cases that comes up based, it's like a knowledge portal, if I have to say, right? It's like a FAQ database of sorts, right? Fundamentally, that is where it searches and brings you suggestions and the code. Now, the what is the effectiveness of the base from which it comes? So, some intelligence of, I think she put it very right. That is what I wanted to say. A human intelligence to weigh in what AI is suggesting. Is it reflective of the current scenario? Can I use it as it is? Or can I need to rephrase this? Is something that human have to come into picture, Dr. Kvita. So, what she has started writing less code, but started using her time more efficiently. She did
Very
that
true.
is exactly what has happened because of AI, and that's a clear use case. Thank you. I just
Much
wanted to
great
add
taking
those
points.
points.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, any panelists wanted to have a word for this? Otherwise, we'll go ahead. Thank you. So, moving on to the next panelist, Dr. C. S. Raghuvanshi, Dean MIT University. Sir, this is for you. So, being an academician, how an academic institution keep a four-year degree relevant when the technology is changing every 4 months? So, rightly pointed out by the first panelist, especially inviting, he said not 6 months, not every day the things are happening, changing, right? So, we don't have much time in academics as well to incorporate our the cutting edge technologies. So if we put in that way, four-year degree is relevant with the technology changing every 4 months. So what would be your answer for this? Over to you.
So very first, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Sanjivani University and the management of the university for inviting me as a panel expert. So I have been teaching since 2003. So I have more than 20 years of experience. And what I feel in current, the most challenging for the teacher is to engage the students. Ma'am, what happens when we teach the student in the classroom, most of the students, not or more than 90% of the students are sitting and doing the Facebook in the classroom. So the most challenging for the teacher in the current AI era is to engage the student because the information and the knowledge is already available on the Google, and students are very easy and downloading the content, downloading the notes. The most challenging for the student, for the teacher, is to engage the student by imparting not only the information and knowledge, but to engage the student some skillful job. This is the most important thing. And our vice chancellor sir said that technology is changing in every 6 months, and Mr. Suryans concluded not in 6 months, but changing in every 6 weeks. So this is very much challenging for the teacher also. And being an academician, this is very much challenging to conclude, to include all the technology changes in our curriculum and the syllabus. So I think with my experience, I feel that the solution of this type of the problem to include all the changes in solution is to make our student and make them able to for the self learning ability. Getting my point? Because for the academic this is not possible to include all the changes in our syllabus, because AICT and UGC also supposed to make changes in the syllabus in every 3 years, because they understand this is not feasible to include all the changes in every 6 months or in every semesters. Getting my point? So the solution is only making a student able so that they can utilize their own ability to learn by themselves. And
Very
the most important thing for the teacher, not imparting only the information and knowledge. I think we do some self-learning activity in the classroom so that the student will engage in some hands-on practice. So I think this is the ultimate solution so that we can overcome this problem of changing the technology and not able to include in our curriculum, so that the student can learn by themselves. And in the classroom also we should do some activity also so that the student can explore the new things and new technology coming in the market. And one more thing we should do, we should give the exposure to our students so that they can connect with the industry, or they can understand the current industry demand and technology demands that is not in our syllabus. So this is the ultimate solution for this problem to make our students self-learner.
Very true, sir. Rightly pointed out, the only solution for the students they have to be a self-learner, right? So it's
Yeah.
not possible to change every consecutive months or consecutive year. So the self-learning should be adaptable for every university. The students also should be available for that, right? So thank you so much, sir. So moving towards for the next panelist, Mr. Henrich, founder of GenLab. So, sir, this is for you. So, what job crisis did you see in the market that inspired you to create GenLab as a solution? Because as an entrepreneur, so I thought like I could put this question as a startup spark. Please, over to you, sir.
Sure. So first of all, thanks for having us, Shametha ma'am. So thanks again. So actually, it takes me, couple of years to understand the power of AI. So back in 2020, 21, like when I was working, I thought initially the AI is more about a tool which helps the content creator or a designer or a developer. So that is how I've been underestimating it. So after being working and taking a help from AI, like initially, then I realized it is like far more beyond that. Like it is not going to stop there to help the technologies, but it can also be in a powerful tool for all the industry. So I realized that, right? So that is a time I made a decision to, why don't we create an AI model that helps enterprises? So that gives us idea to, start generate. So this is not more of finding a job crisis. We found a lot of opportunities arises, right? So we thought AI is create a lot of opportunities, not for technology, but also for healthcare, also for fintech, for travel agency, everywhere, right? So we found that it's going to be the future. So that is a phase. I thought the existing job roles definitely will be replaced by the new technology that AI is going to produce. Uh, but AI definitely is going to make a lot of changes, like going with technology of 10x fast, right? So in early days, like there is a TEDx talk from a Microsoft speaker. So he was pointed out he predicted AI can be built by 2015. So that talk was in 2010. So they said like it takes at least 50, 60 years to build an AI. So that is how the technology has been predicted back in 2010. But they made it possible by 2020. And then they realized we go with a fast of 10 years fast every year. So that means every 365 days is equal to 10 years of tech fast that we are going on, right? So definitely the technology is evolving very fast and it's bringing up a lot of new skills. So definitely the students has to upskill the fundamentals and also to adapt to the technology, but it is not a job crisis. This is more of creating new opportunities. So I believe that student has to adapt to this mindset, like they should have adaptability to follow how we going on. Like they have to adapt what change is happening. They need to understand that. But anyway, keeping it the fundamental is the prompt is going to be a basic skill set that everyone should have, because AI is more of a prompt based where you're communicating with an machine. So I believe that that is going to be a very basic skill set everyone should have in the career. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Well said. Like actually, a prompt is an art, I could say. So giving prompt is a
Mm.
kind of art also. So it was well said for you. And moving to Suryan sir, as I have a question to you. So with the rise of generative and agentic AI, so reducing traditional entry level roles, what new career path, skill sets should students prioritize to turn this disruption into a long term opportunity? I think you will be the right person now to answer this question, sir. Over to you.
Sure. Um, hmm. So actually, I loved what Dr. Raghuvanshi said, right? And just sort of taking off from there. Self-learning is probably the most critical skill that a student can learn today. Right? I believe the universities are doing a good job in upskilling students on the basic fundamentals, but taking it from the classroom to the industry, right? It is not the job, of the industries, or is not the job of the universities anymore. It is actually the job of the student. Make sure that they are keeping up with the latest. They have the passion, they have the grit, and they have the perseverance to take things through. To give you another example, right? Um, Today, not many universities are well versed with AI code editors, Cursor, Claude Code, etc. They don't teach you those in universities, although I really urge that you should. But it is not a general trend. See these knowledge being taught in classrooms. But when you come to the industry, especially I'll take example of Ethera AI itself. Today we are teaching about 3,000 plus post-training experts, right? Of which about 1,200 are AI ML engineers. Um, we actually, don't hire people until and unless they themselves have learned these basic skills of using AI code editors like Claude Code, Codex, or even Open Code if you're adventurous, right? And that is essentially what differentiates an entry level, entrant into the industry versus an experienced entry level entrant into the industry, right? I know that might sound slightly contradictory because how can you gain experience even without being in the industry? But this is exactly how, right? You have to have that passion for tinkering. You have to have the passion for exploration, right? You need to go out there. Everything is available on YouTube today, right? And even if not YouTube, right? The whole power of artificial intelligence actually lies in the ability of AI bringing students, professors, and industry experts to the same playing field, right? Where they all now, everyone now has access to this magical technology where knowledge is now at the tip of your fingers. It is all about how you are leveraging those powers of an LLM. See, whether it's a professor at Harvard, right, or whether it's a student entering college in India, right, both have access to Gemini. They both have access to Claude Code. They both have access to any such SOTA models out there, right? What is differentiating a Harvard professor versus an entry level student? Essentially, the use of the model itself. That's it. Seriously, the more you put your hands on these tools, the more you tinker with them, the more you sit for hours with patience and passion to really understand what power you can harness from these tools, the more the more success you will have when trying to apply for jobs or even starting your company, etc. Right? So my sincere encouragement is that people should go out there and explore these tools as much as they can on their own, right? Um, at Ithara, we truly believe that opportunity is just a matter of taking a dig at it, right? So as long as you have that ability of venturing on your own, exploring on your own, and experiencing on your own, and then coming back and saying, hey guys, look, this is what I found, this is what I did, this were the results of this versus what we are using today. So that mindset, that inclination for exploration and curiosity, it's highly, highly valued, not just at Ithara, but I'm sure at any organization that they will try to apply to, right? So those are my 2 cents on this. Exploration and curiosity combined with grit and passion, I think is the formula for success.
Exactly. Well pointed out, sir. So it's not about entry level roles. It's all about experienced entry level roles, right? So you clearly said that benchmark for the students. So it's coming into an industry with a plain mindset or plain without any skill, it doesn't work anymore. So it's not about we are expecting experienced people, we are expecting a skilled, powerful packed students for an industry. So clearly said, and moreover, top of it, passion is much important, and their own creativity and curiosity works well. So rightly pointed out, and truly agree with your point. Thanks a lot with joining with us and giving wonderful suggestions. Really enjoyed the session with you, sir. So
Ma'am,
Absolutely. Thank
may I have add? I have just one. It's more like a hack, I would say. Suraj was right about saying how you get your hands dirty with AI and stuff. For me, one trick that worked is participating in hackathons. What
yeah,
happens in that point is you are under high time pressure, but you're trying to develop something. You are forced to explore on yourselves. You will fail. A lot of things will go wrong, but the amount of learning you do there is exponential. And for me, I have never taken a course in AI. I have never gone through, long YouTube tutorials and stuff. But I'm able to do. I can sit for an hour and come up with a new agent that can do 10 different things, or agents that can collectively do a full, AI ecosystem. So I think one thing that worked for me is participating in hackathons, so that very quickly you get to learn and explore all these things.
yeah, I truly agree, Shametha. How enthusiastic you were in college days, I know very well, and you are the standout girl for all the hackathons I have seen in front of myself. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Any panelists wish to have a comment on this? Shall we move forward? Yes.
I agree what Shamitha actually says. So it's that's what I initially says, that learning a particular tool or learning a particular model is not sufficient unless you do some practical things, which is actually working in the real world. Not so just when you just try to make a new chatbot, right, as a part of AI practice, which is like everyone is doing, that's not sufficient actually, because that's what everyone is doing. That's not a practical approach, which is solving a real world problem. So that's really good thing.
Very true. That experiential learning matters a lot for all the young community here now. So it's quite interesting. The panel is going quite interesting now. So moving towards to Shanthi ma'am. So regarding the QA shift in the era of agentic AI, how does the role of quality assurance change when the AI is essentially writing and testing its own code?
Yeah.
Might be a
So I
challenging.
again, I would say that in fact the role of QA becomes even more prevalent and even more important with the advent of AI, right? Because see, while AI is being used as a tool for solving a problem, it is very easy for anyone to detect if the code is completely written by AI and deployed. It can work, that's not a problem. But then, there is something called a concept of validation in QA, right? And there are two aspects of it. One is a unit testing, where the code functionally works or not. That AI can do. I agree to that. And that help AI has to do, it is important. But you can also write a code and allow AI to test it. We have a tool utility in HCL to do that. But where the problem or where the key aspect is the code written to the customer requirement. That is called system testing. Okay. Understanding of where the customer came from. And you know that most of the MBAs have a career called a business analyst today, and that is only to demystify customer requirements. Okay, even their own English, like I think Shametha put it very nicely, English is a programming language, right? They say something in English, they think something else in their own language. So how do we even demystify the customer requirements and have your code perform or meet the customer requirements? That is the biggest part where AI cannot come in directly. We need a human tester and a validator and a person who has understood the requirement, right? This the system testing and user acceptance testing in a software code has to have the human thing. So I think moreover, because at least I write the code, I know whether I messed up or I didn't mess up. A developer, for example, he or she may argue with the tester about this is not a defect, a bug or not, but internally in his mind or her mind, they know there is a problem. But if AI writes it, I don't even know what it has done, right? So while you will take the AI tool for testing, the QA role becomes even more important and prevalent is what I wanted to say. And just on the point that, these people spoke about, the testing cycle, like the automation testing using Selenium scripts and things like that, you can explore AI to reduce the number of cycles in testing to make sure it is more efficient. That way, AI can come in, but giving the requirements, modeling the whole testing speed itself needs a human intervention, Dr. Kavita. That's what I think.
That's great.
And
So,
the point I just wanted to add on the practical aspect that Shametha spoke, and I think in the new NEP 2020, the Indian government has also realized that industry collaborative programs (OJTs) have become more credit centric than just the theory topic, right? So I agree to what Suryansh also said. It's not about learning; it's about experimenting. And as a person from an enterprise, I would always maintain how to ethically use the tool. That is the most important thing. You don't use AI for writing your CPA and fooling the company, right? That's not what AI should be used for. AI should be used for something else.
yes,
That is
very.
that is
So it's always a human intervention is must in quality. So
must. Even
right,
for
ma'am.
QA, our efforts have gone up. We go and budget more to the client, Dr. Kavita, in case where we are supposed to transparently tell the customer we use this agentic AI to generate this code. That is how our customers ask.
That's great.
It's very important, and then hence we say the testing experience has to go up because we need to have another pair of eyes to validate where we could go wrong,
Okay.
right? So QA only assumes more. Yeah, thank you.
That's rightly pointed out, ma'am. So always a human intervention is much important, as you said. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. So moving on to Rajendra sir again. So how will agentic AI automate cloud operations, and what roles will remain for humans from your point of view? Over to you,
So
sir.
when we see all this, like, again, new things, agentic AI, and all, there's a lot of fear about like AI taking jobs. But when you deal with the cloud operation, we see it as a different opportunity. So we are moving towards agentic AI, where AI doesn't just suggest a fix, which it used to, right? Just suggesting that you need to follow up step and you can fix the problem. Now it actually executed all those fixes. So imagine what I used to do sometime back, the AI era, right? When some of the server or databases or any of the cloud server is going down, let's say 3 a.m. We used to get a page alert or some call from the marketing team, and then we need to go and fix the problems and all. Now with Agentic AI, they just detect the failure, spin up the new instances, they redirect your application traffic, and just send you as a human to somebody in email in the next morning or right now. Does that mean human is gone? No. So what Shanti ma'am also says that human machine is very, very important right now. So it means you are moving from being a firefighter to a fire marshal. You don't need to fight, you don't need to actually execute things, but you need to set the policies, define the ethics. You know, you need to handle all the events that AI hasn't seen before. So the role that remains are for those who can protect the system and govern the agent, set the policy, not just monitor the. So that's what the situation in look like what AI as of now.
Okay, that's great. Like instead of firefighter, we are moving on to fire master. So that's a unique thing which the humans is going to take it forward. Fine, sir. It was wonderfully addressed. So moving on to Shubham, sir. So the implementation gap. So why do so many AI projects fail to move fast the proof of concept stage? And what role do engineers play in fixing that? I think you would have come across many AI projects phase into the implementation phase. So what kind of role do engineers play in fixing that? Go to Shubham, sir.
Uh, yeah, so to answer that, I would say most AI projects don't fail because of the model itself, but because of the engineering gaps. So, like the common reasons I would say is like no clean or structured data, no valuation metrics defined, or poor integration with the existing system. So, like where like legacy systems, the code, for example, I would take an example. So, like I've been working into like this. microservice systems, right? So the existing systems were on OSB, like Java microservices. We need to integrate it to the OSB, right? So Oracle Service Bus. So in that, what I would say is like if the current code doesn't patch in with the legal system, so then basically there are engineering gaps. But from AI perspective, which I would say engineer plays a critical role in. So building robust data pipelines is is really required. And like from like a prompt engineering point of view, I would say like evaluation loop should be there, not just like only accuracy. So it should be like more of a real world issue. So like from basically where we give the human feedback in and then we expect that the model behaves correct, right? So basically from the proof of concept is something what I would say it's a possibility, right? Where engineers actually make it happen.
So you say it's an engineering gap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one fantastic answer for my doubts, sir. Thank you very much. And moving
One
forward,
thing, if I can add, Dr. Kavita, is that from being in an enterprise and a user of AI, I would again go back to my example of this 9 month duration concept, right? We don't budget enough to do a proper validation testing to verify anything. We just go ahead and deliver a half-baked, half-cooked food out of urgency, right? And we don't take the time. I think that is the one, and we are so much enthusiastic to show a concept like a hackathon project. You cannot deliver a client project, right? So that is where I think the life cycle concept, the process, all that goes for a toss, Dr. Kavita. So that is another reason. It is not AI's failure; it is a human failure of using AI in the right sense. That is
right.
where the problem.
Yeah.
Shanti ma'am, I have a question for you actually. Because you're working with HCL and you support enterprise on a daily basis. Do you see that there is still a lot of uncertainty or lack of clarity in the actual requirements of what enterprise wants? Right?
Yes.
From my understanding, there is still ambiguity on what enterprise themselves are looking for when it comes to AI. So, what are your thoughts?
No, no,
What
I completely can't agree more, Suryansh. It is there, right? See, because see, we don't know. I can again go back to our legacy example, right? See, for my grandmother who has been using a stove to cook, if I give her a cooking range and microwave to do, she will fail. She cannot do it at all because she has been used to that. So, likewise, all our experienced people in the enterprise, they are used to the traditional cooking. They may be strong in the cooking recipe methodology, but using technology to the advantage, they can't take it. Okay, that is number one. Number two is even our customers, right? For example, if I go for an AI upgrade, forget about AI, Suryansh, you must be knowing ERP implementation, SAP. Why does it fail in many places? Because they don't know where to use SAP, how to give the requirements. See, the business user is different from the IT user, right? So this is a classic problem of the IT industry actually. So they don't know how to define, and see, by that time you go on iterating, what do we want, what do we want, what do you want, the clock is ticking. Now you come to the most critical part of design and implementation, which is where you'll give the least time. So it is like asking for six sixes in the last over in a T20 match, and with a tail and batsman, how will the match go, right? So that is what is happening in real life. So
So
yeah.
how do you sort of go about setting the customer expectations correctly? Right? How do you navigate or help or guide the customer to
Yeah.
understand how to actually adopt AI the right way?
Correct. So it is like, proving, yeah, do some POCs, pilots, right, Suryansh? Give them some time, right? See, I know 100% all of us know it's about the customer planning a launch date on something. You tell me, other than that, what is a pressure for a non medical industry to release something? See, we are not saving a patient, we are not curing something from death or something, right? It is something that you just have to, you plan some strategic even some time back without even doing a homework and then putting that pressure back to us. So we have made it very clear that, even if we are paid at 10x more, we are not going to take up such projects that are going to spoil a combined repute of both HCL Tech and our clients, right? So we want to be very clear on that, on those things. Okay. And if we do, we go with an MVP concept. You know that it is agile. Everything is agile execution. So you can go with a minimum viable product, a prototype. Okay. So we go there and then do some launch, test it as a concept. If it works, we will have releases. Don't do a big bang program. Those are the ways in which we are trying to address this.
Understood. Thank you so much. I think, yeah, I think the approach of iterative development, sort of helps in explaining or enterprise understand, where to apply these
Exactly.
technologies, right? But
Absolutely.
also, just from my experience, it has also helped by standardizing some of these
Exactly.
products and services, right?
Yes.
Rather than constantly going based on customer requirements, you take the flipped approach, where you tell the customer that, hey, we have these three products or these three services, right, which can help you in X, Y, and Z ways, right, which sort of allows them also to put things into perspective. Otherwise, a lot of times, Shantima, what I've also seen, because we also work with enterprise, is that we get stuck in this infinite iterative development loop as well, right? Where we
Exactly.
can never come to a conclusion on what is the right way forward. And I think that is the biggest problem with enterprise AI today, is the lack of standardization.
Absolutely. Very true. And that is, I was just coming to that. I think I spoke about it when we talked about QA as well. Right. I mean, that point when I was just answering that question, Suryansh, that is exactly what I'm saying. See, even RPA for that matter, right? RPA automation have largely failed in IT industries because of this lack of standardization. And IT industry culturally is meant to be not standardized. That is when you can have heroics and awards and promotions. I mean, I can say this in an open forum without any fear. Whereas manufacturing industry, which is more organized, you cannot do this in a TVS electronics kind of environment where they are far more structured. They will come to you for a requirement in 2030. Now I can tell you that's how they operate. We will talk about something, we'll give a big requirement and say in May you have to implement it, and nobody knows any requirement, right? And we would have signed an invoice, got, then comes this payment parlance. I completely agree, and there are only certain things we can standardize, and that is why I think in software metrics, right? I've been in metrics for quite some time, KPI. The amount of effort and time you spend in an upstream life cycle is one of the key indicator about the health of the product.
Yeah.
If you have requirements, architecture, design, you should have spent that 60 to 70% effort. Coding is a very small piece, more smaller with AI now. If you have not spent that effort and directly jumped into writing the code like a hackathon project, this project is bound to fail. It's a question of time and God's will by how long it will succeed in the market. So that's what it is. Sorry, Dr. Kavita, I think we took a longer time, but it was
So
a good
actually,
point.
I'm enjoying this conversation.
Yeah,
So this is really
yes.
going interesting way to way. So this is what we also expect, and students also are expecting. So getting wonderful responses from the esteemed panelists is really a
Thank
grateful
you,
for.
thank you.
Yes,
Thank
please
you.
go
Yeah,
forward,
I
ma'am.
also want to quote Mr. Pankaj Jalote. He has written very famous book on software engineering, and he is currently in IIT Delhi and teaching software engineering. He written, oh, the software success ratio is not more than 2%, and 98% software fails just because of not understanding the customer requirement in right way. So
Exactly.
I and 90% of the scholar doing PhD in the computer science or especially in the software engineering, they are working just to improve the software success ratio by understanding the customer requirement. So this is very challenging for the student, not only for the student, but for the software engineer, experienced software engineer also understanding the customer requirement in one go. And this
Absolutely,
is
sir.
very,
I
very
completely
difficult for
agree.
document
Correct.
the customer requirement also.
See, Divya, there is something called a elicitation, requirements elicitation process in
Then it is.
software,
Yeah.
where we have to go to the nth level of questioning to ask, right? And this questioning is what helps us to prompt also properly if you don't know what to question. And that is why the students, still I'm again coming back to my first response to say that entry level jobs will not go if they know, understand these things. Okay, this if they know they cannot be replaced by. I completely agree, sir. Thank you. So requirements, elicitation, understanding upstream life cycle. See what they also say, no, even in the mathematics, all of us would have solved equations. Read the problem twice or thrice. That is what our maths teacher would have told us. Just don't jump into the solution half reading, right? So understanding the problem is half the in life, software, AI, everywhere, sir. So I think we have to do that.
But
Thank you.
more thing I want to conclude, the customer is also not stick with the requirement. He
No, they
always
are
say,
all
can you make this
humans,
change
sir.
also,
They
sir?
same. They have a tag called customer. After all, they are all
Yeah.
like us only. Their
Yeah.
role is customer. They cannot be any
Their
different.
role is
Okay,
customer.
that's all.
So,
They cannot be any different. Culturally, also they are like that.
In
They
his
so
will
very
everyone
frequent
demand.
he change their requirement.
Yeah,
everyone really actually explain everything about the customer. I'm part of SCL for like 13 years, being a service industry and still dealing with a lot of customer. So my very small contribution to this discussion about the customer specifically. Um, Sometimes customer don't know what they want, like what Sanjivani says that sometimes they know but not able to communicate to you properly what service exactly they want. So I would say being part of service right now or in the past, a lot of assessment, a lot of enablement is 100% required. Like, that is the key. Unless you enable the customer, they don't know what product is in the market which suits their workload, suits their requirement. Unless you ask a lot of questions, which is part of assessment, customer is not able to tell you exactly what exactly they want. So assessment and enablement is definitely very required. Yeah.
yes, sir. I agree. And one last thing on this, I wanted to conclude by saying that customers respect us when you push back with the right facts.
That's true.
They not that, and you get more business. I can vouch for it with 20 years of experience in Cognizant as well. Same thing, you will get more business because they trust that you will do what you say, right? They are not like, they don't want to stake us. So that will only help if we are clear in communicating what we want from the customer. You spend that effort in understanding. And here is all Dr. Kavita, where AI can never come into this role. They can do certain things, but here human will be required. Yeah.
Actually, Shanti ma'am, on that note, I have a slightly different opinion, right? Because AI, you can leverage AI to sort of, run multiple simulations of how a requirement could potentially impact the end product, right? I feel like an AI, honestly, here would be one of the best applications to streamline customer requirements, right? Because it can run such so many parallel simulations, reason on those simulations to understand which would have the highest impact, positive impact on the product, and even provide a list of options in a matter of seconds, right? Why not leverage this technology? And for the people on this in this session here listening, this could honestly be a good business idea, right? For an
Yes.
entrepreneur sitting in this session here, right, is to actually build a agent who can navigate through various scenarios, who can navigate through customer requirements, and actually work with the customer, potentially with a human in the loop, or even without a human in the loop, right? That's actually where you want AI to go. We should not, I feel, try and fit humans also in places where AI can take over, right? Similar to where humans should not, similar to where AI should not replace humans. I think even AI should have its own space in the world today.
We should. No, no, I agree, Suryansha. No, no, I completely agree. And that is where we should head to. But today we are not there. We
Today
have
we're
to
not.
explore. We have to explore that. But my only
Absolutely.
point is to make AI leverage, just like, the enterprise we spoke about. To make AI help us in requirements, we have to make it more refined, standardized to help take AI's help. See,
Absolutely.
like coding has become a standardized feature, right? You know the
Yes.
algorithm, you know. So requirements is still that novice in terms of standardization. Once we
Absolutely.
are doing that, we can come to that. I agree.
Which is why I said I think it's a great startup idea for anyone
Set up.
out there trying
Correct,
to build
correct.
a business.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
See, we had tools. IBM had a tool called Requisite Pro. We had a tool called Doors to elicit requirements. But there again, it's only that after you enter 100 statements, it can do some iterations. Maybe we
Yes.
can try. It's a good idea. Thanks for that. We'll do that in Excel. We'll try with a small
I
team.
recommend you come to us with us and do
Yeah,
this.
yeah, sure. Sure, sure. Good, good. Thanks, Kavita. You got us some business ideas also with this panel discussion. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a wonderful discussion going on. I thought like I should not disturb you guys. So let it go forward. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So moving towards Shamitha, in today's world, software development is more about NLP, so natural language commands, or a deep knowledge of your C++, Java, still the king. What is your point?
Okay. I think the choice that we are presented itself are not comparable to each other, because one is an enabler, as we discussed earlier. The other one is going to be some human knowledge that we've still been, discussing again and again about what expertise you bring. We've been also debating on how AI can help us in this front, like Suryansh and Shanti ma'am were just discussing. But in apart from that, if I see, I feel like natural language is like an interface where you interact with the system, where AI is going to be helping you, but the core technical expertise that you bring, the knowledge that you have, is going to remain the same. For example, if you don't know what kind of expertise you have in your team, AI can suggest randomly. It can say, okay, bring in a data engineer and do this, do this, do this. But do you have that expertise to implement with as part of your team? And if your AI is going to give you a hallucinated logic, can you optimize that? Can you debug that? And will you are you also estimating about the production failures that may come? So one bottom line that I see here is, you need to be able to ask AI the right questions. Now, just now we were discussing how, AI can run multiple simulations and come up with requirements and all of that. But I think the core problem there is, human beings also are not capable to give it the right prompts. After it gives us a wrong knowledge, we are like, no, 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 this doesn't work, I want to twerk it a little bit more. So when you give the requirements, the prompt to AI, if you are going to give the requirements, what you have, what the customer expects and all of that, then you're going to be getting, better results. So that is one thing. Also, we were discussing about the engineering expertise, right? So I think social media is presenting a very wrong notion to a lot of people. I see a lot of reels saying, you can just, if you're a startup owner, if you have an idea, you can just go ahead, build your own website, build your own application, launch it and all of that. But I think all of them on the panelists will agree with me, it's not that easy, because you can build some code that runs. It would be a hackathon level project or like a college level project, but is it okay to be expertized? Is it okay to, is it on an enterprise level? So that is one thing we all must see. I think a funny analogy is like, I know how to play PUBG, so I'm going to war right now because I know how a gun works. It doesn't work that way, right? You have to know exactly how it works. You have to be able to, in the war space, are you able to put your head right? You're able to, make quick decisions there. That is where your engineering expertise come in. And if I have to like put it in a very crisp sentence, AI will not be replacing human beings, but human beings who know how to use AI will be replacing human beings who don't know how to use AI. So that is my takeaway from this. And natural language, yes, natural language is more about what kind of questions you ask to AI. Are you able to comprehend what your AI gives you? And are you able to communicate properly with your customers to get the requirements and communicate those requirements to AI? But this is where natural language comes into picture. But again, your core knowledge of what has to be done, how much expertise and how much capabilities you have that you can give to, that is comes under engineering principles. It doesn't necessarily lie with Java or C++, but any kind of domain that you're into which will require that kind of an expertise. So that's what I feel.
Thank you, Shamitha. Thanks a lot for your wonderful differentiation, or more about natural language commands or deep knowledge in technical expertise of it. So moving towards to Raghuvanshi. So as an academician, as we know, like with AI capable of writing papers, how do we redefine originality of the person faculty members? Should I repeat the question?
Can you repeat it? You are not
Yes.
audible.
Yes. With AI capable of writing papers, how do we redefine original research for PhD scholars and faculty members? I think you will be the right person to answer this question as a dean.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, student or faculty should understand what the means of research. The research is not searching the things that is already available. Means student or faculty should understand that this research means trying to search something that is not available. And most of the faculty members are using the AI tool for writing the research paper. It's okay, but idea should be original. Getting my point? AI cannot give you the idea. So I think faculty member and research scholars should use the AI tool. No problem, they can use, but they should not take the idea from the AI. The idea must be original. So AI is very helpful in the research also, because the data is very huge. A large volume of research data is only available on the Google and so many sources. So this is very difficult for us to get the right data, right article, and read the full complete PDF file of 20 pages or 30 pages. It's very difficult. So we can use the AI tool like Notebook LM. We can use for summarize the PDF file and the research article. But this is up to on the individuals how we are using the AI tool for our research purpose. Getting my point? But the thing is that this is totally depend on the individuals how they are using the AI tools. So no one can stop me to generate the text, generate the data from the AI, or we can just copy and paste the full text in my research article. This is up to me. So I request all these student and research scholars just use wisely the AI tool. We can generate the data, we can collect the data, but we should understand the research ethics also. So this is my submission, because it's depend totally on individuals.
I, sir, if I can add, sir, I think this is what I have been also saying, right? How to responsibly use AI is the most important learning than just using AI. I
Yeah.
completely agree to you what you say, sir. And yes, there, in fact, we are just, when we then get resumes, right, we have a tool to check whether it is an AI generated, not AI assisted. AI assisted is still okay. AI generated resume, or otherwise, we do that filter before even calling people for interviews. So probably some tool like that you can check, like a plagiarism check, right? Whether AI is being fundamentally AI is doing the research or the person is doing the research. Number one, and number two is I think that is where, sir, when people come in front of the class and present, or front of a forum and present, I think with all your experience, in about 3 to 5 questions, you will understand the originality of the person who is presenting it from a knowledge perspective, right? It should be very easy to gauge, sir, with your experience. And that is why it is just theory, paper is not important. More on interviews and practical, sir. I just wanted to add, but very valid point, sir.
Yeah, same here actually.
We should,
It's very tempting, right? And if, I mean, Doctor, both Shanti ma'am and Dr. Raghuvanshi were talking about research, but I'll actually go a little, on a high level and even talk about university students, right? College students, high school students, right? It's very tempting today to rather than writing like sitting 6 hours and writing an essay, rather you just prompt the model and you just extract text, generated text, and copy paste that on document and submit that as your essay. Right? It's super tempting. I won't deny it. I have been a college student. I wish AI was there when I was in college. Right? Things would have been very different. But um, I'm actually also glad that it wasn't, simply because the fundamental knowledge that that one needs to gain, you can never gain that from AI, right? The rigor that is required to actually really grill those concepts, to practice those concepts, to really assimilate the knowledge, AI is actually not helping with that at all, right? Because you've seen the verbosity of these large language models. One prompt can extract pages of text, right? And you can say, "Oh, it's a novel idea." It's really not, right? Because once you actually dig deeper into that text, you'll find that a lot of it is just fluff, right? And that is why even at Ithara, although we do leverage AI extensively for generating delivery reports, extracting insights from data, and just most basic work, also we leverage AI, and it is encouraged, right? But post the generation of this text, what is very important is to really deep dive into what has been generated, to question each and every aspect, each and every sentence that you are generating, right? And really asking yourself, is this adding any value to the overall context of what you're trying to deliver? Right? And that goes true for, I feel, every discipline out there, right? Where leverage AI as a tool, leverage AI as an assistant, whether it's in research, whether it's, well, maybe not in assignments, because I would definitely encourage that rigor to still be there, right? But questioning it and iterating on it on your own, or what we call in the industry multi-turning, right? So multi-turning becomes very, very critical in really extracting the absolute, value out of these tools. Otherwise, for me, I can, trust me, I can read two different essays, one written by a human and one written by an AI, and I can tell you very clearly which one is an AI generated text. Right? For me, and for most people also now, and especially like what Shanti ma'am said, for recruiters as well, it becomes super easy to really say, okay, is this AI generated versus when the person comes and talks to us in person or for an interview, it becomes very, very obvious that this person has just tried to bluff their way, through interviews, through CVs, through all of that stuff. So I do sincerely encourage people to retain that rigor that has traditionally been there in our educational system, and that is there for a reason. So let's not undervalue that because with AI.
That's great from Surya, sir. So moving towards to Hendrik, sir. So the question to you, why specifically Anthropic centered? Is it a marketing choice or technically necessity for 2030?
Dr. Kavita, I think your voice is very feeble and not
Is
able
it audible,
to
ma'am? Is it audible now?
slightly
Yes,
better.
now you are audible.
Is it
There
audible?
is some background noise on another person also.
So just let me check once, please.
I
Now
think
you are
your
clear.
audio is fine. There is background noise from both of
Fine.
you. Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
better.
Shall
Now
I,
it's okay.
yeah. Shall I go forward? So shall I repeat the question, Henrich?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So why your GenLab is focusing specifically on Anthropic human-centered AI? Is it a marketing choice or technically necessity for 2030? What's your opinion, sir?
Okay. Actually, we have to consider two things. So now AI is open to everyone, right? So anyone can use AI, anyone can use this technology. It is open for everyone, right? And even a single person, with the help of AI, they can create one more AI. That is how the technology is given to everyone hands right now. So thing is, are we measuring the risk of AI here? That we need to consider, right? So even nowadays, students are creating a lot of AI projects in their colleges. Even a lot of small startups are coming with a lot of AI ideas, right? So are we measuring the risk of using these AI tools? So that we need to measure. So if you see, the first AI Regulation Act was made on 21st August, by the European Union. So they, for the Europe, they come up with an act, right? Like we have a lot of acts, right? So similarly, Europe Union has come up with an AI Act. So that is the first AI Act was introduced by the European Union in the last year, and still a lot of other countries also been working on how to create AI policies, AI regulations, AI terms and conditions to what we have to create in the future. That is very important. So whenever we create an AI model, we have to measure the metrics, four categories: no risk, low risk, high risk, and prohibited AI. Okay. So we want to find it, whatever we develop, in what category or the what bucket our product is going to fall under. That is very important. So even now it is open to everyone to create any model, but not a future, right? When we talk about future, there will be restrictions. There will be some terms which we need to follow, right? Like how we follow the traffic rules and systems, that is how the future is also going to be, right? If you're talking about 2030, definitely there will be a government policies will be there, government act on the AI will be there. So we need to follow those conditions and terms to make an AI product which is sustainable. Also, it don't risk the people. So that is very important. Still, like it's not very futuristic. We don't need to wait till 2030. Also, maybe in next couple of years also it can happen. So keeping that in a mind, we wanted to work as a anthropic, focused, like human-centered AI. So that is one of a base idea that we are working on. So whenever we incubate the startups which is being created by the college students, we focus more on creating a no risk or low risk AI. So they are aware of the future. They know, okay, even my idea was extraordinary, I should create something which is going to be sustainable, but also it doesn't create any risk for the society. So keeping as a mind, so that is the reason we doing it both. It is also a marketing strategy, but still that is also a need. Like maybe now it doesn't become a very mandatory thing, but it is not an option for the future. It is a mandatory option. Everyone has to follow that. So yeah.
So I think you said like it's all a marketing choice. Thank you very much, Enrich, for your input. So over to Rajendra Giri. Uh, so as you are into the cloud and AWS, and what kind of certifications or learning path universities like us to integrate for AI plus cloud careers? What do you say?
So, if I say I need to design a curriculum today, I would move away from the static learning because I mean all the speaker already says so many times that AI moving too fast for a 4 year of textbook cycle or maybe like 3 years, so not even a 6 month, right? So universities should look at the like for example, I can give an example of my own organization like AWS Academy. So it is what we provide to keep the course content as fresh as we release the latest products. So for students, if it is about certification, I would say they can start with a like kind of practitioner certification, either from AWS or so many other cloud vendor who's having their AI models. They release the certification. So kind of practitioner or initial level of certification is a good to start. It's new and it actually bridges that gap between the basic cloud infrastructure and Gen AI. But you don't need to stop at the certification. The real learning path is actually hybrid, like what Samita also says about the hackathon and all. So what I would say is spend 50% of your time on theory of neural networks, AI, and all those things, but you have to spend 50% of your time on the builder sessions. So I can always tell that a certification can get you to the interview, but a GitHub repo or any of the project which you deployed or developed in the cloud will get you to the job. For the teachers, I would say encourage your students to use the free tiers kind of stuff in the AWS or in the Google or even in the Azure. They are free. It will give you all the sandboxes so you can go fail fast and learn faster. So these strategies will definitely help you to get to ready to the market.
Also, another thing I would like to add is combining perspectives of Rajendra and Shanti ma'am is, You can put a lot of certifications and stuff on your resume, but the moment you sit in an interview and you start talking about it, that's when you'll get caught if you have not have hands-on experience that you've worked on. So you can always create a fancy resume, you can add 10 different certifications from 10 different courses, but at the end of the day it all drills down to how much you actually know. So yeah.
That's correct, Samantha. This is what I'm saying. So certification can get to you to interview, but it won't get you. It won't land you a job. For
Job.
that, you have to prove that you earn those certification and you actually knows this stuff, and not just the earning a certification. So there was a time that certification has a really great values. Now I won't say that they don't have a value. They still have a very good values, but you have to prove that you earn them with all
Correct,
those
correct.
knowledge.
And you got the
You know,
certificate in spirit is the most important thing, right?
True,
One
true.
is there are AI generated certificates also, so we'll have to do a check on that. Truly, we are seeing, okay. So, I mean, look at people slogging to do something, and somebody can, and we need those skills somewhere. I don't know where, but yeah, still figuring out.
So, so
Yeah,
Shanti, ma'am, since you says that, I'll tell you the real incident of last week, which happens at my workplace. One of my colleague, he's into analytics and all those things, and there was a new. He was part of interview panel, and he was interviewing one of the candidate, and the interview supposed to be so. AWS has a different level of interviews. Like they take 8 round of interviews, while 5 rounds happens on the same day, which we call loop rounds. So 1 hour each, 5 hours without any stop. So this guy who was the interviewee, the session has been cancelled in 30 minutes because he was reading from the screen and he was answering. So the people interview panel has realized that he's simply reading from the screen because of I mean because of experience and all those things they understand. So that's how the
exactly.
interview stuff and all those documentation is still going on.
The
That's
most impressive resumes are the first one to be checked. If someone says that, it is in my little experience, I can say that, the people who say I have not done anything, very easy to train them and put them on the job.
yeah.
Very, that's why I always keep talking about this ethics, trust, and integrity, and
now
misused.
the
Yeah.
now the smart companies and the people who interview who actually want to hire the right resources, they don't go about the tech knowledge only from the person, right? They're not going to ask you that can you write me a piece of code, I'm giving condition, or can you tell me how to resolve a problem which is there. In place of that, now from Amazon specifically, we don't ask people in the interview that if that thing happen in your infrastructure on your system, how are you going to resolve it. This is like kind of hypothetical questions. We actually say narrate a situation which happens with you in the past in your organizations. uh, what was the situation, how you handle it, how you resolve it, uh, and all those things. So it has to be a real scenario, you need to just narrate. Even if you're going to fake it, there'll be a follow-up question, and eventually you're going to stuck at some point. So
Correct.
in place of asking hypothetical question, better ask the practical question which you have done. Or maybe you say, sorry, I never done that. That is the better answer, even by compared to like you were cooking up some stories. So
And I
that's the
completely
scenarios.
agree. That is exactly what it is. And the other thing I wanted to say is also that that is why in this outcome-based evaluation that is there as part of education system, one of the things we are advocating from industry is we will give you scenarios. There is no dearth of scenarios from any industry, right? Every week we have hundreds of cases of suddenly somebody going and switching off the server, suddenly somebody doing something in a so how will you handle the situation? Okay, real life case. I'm 100% sure that from the past, as you rightly said, right now, I mean, I'm just answering my next question for me, Dr. Kavita, upfront, right? The biggest problem for companies is to separate the fake from the real and then use it to their advantage. That is the biggest challenge. If we are not smart, it is very easy to fall prey to all these things. And we are at a lot of time pressure to hire also sometimes, right? Customer need this profile in the evening, all of that. And these people can crack customer interviews like nobody's business. I can say that customer will never find out it is fake. It is only up to us to have that unwanted intelligence to curb this unwanted things. Yeah. Sorry, Suryansh, you were trying
No,
to say something.
absolutely. No, I think very well put, Shanti ma'am. And to Rajendra's point, even one of my favorite interview questions is actually to deep dive into any project that the candidate sort of puts forth, and specifically deep diving into the problem solving ability of what how they have applied, firstly what challenges they have faced, right? That question itself sort of explains how in depth a person has gone into the concept, into debugging, into actually finding the root cause of the problem. And then the second part, which sort of corroborates the person's actual intention, is how much time and how much effort they spent into solving those problems, right? This simple question can really bring out the true personality that the candidate has and who's interviewing, right? So that this is a very simple hack. And see, you can use AI for this as well, because now with the very low latencies of 100 milliseconds, right, AI is way ahead of how humans can respond. But it's very easy to catch on to superficial jargons, superficial knowledge, and very easy to also identify people who have really put in the effort into solving these problems. And that's so actually, yes, this actually brings us to a very important skill that any person applying for jobs, you should have very good problem solving skills. And that's pretty much what most companies are looking for.
Absolutely. And Suresh, I think spot on that. I think the fundamental thing is whether the person interviewee actually did the project or he got it from someone or he or she did it
Right.
itself can be understood by the challenges, right? And I have seen utopian responses saying philosophically saying life is full of challenges, no challenge in my project and we have to face it. Hooray, come on. And they keep talking about it for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Come on, tell me one challenge and they will take you to some challenge world. Lot of interesting learning from this next gen, I should say. Smartly diverting your attention to something that from your core, right? So you'll have to be very watchful. But I agree to what you said.
Even
Absolutely.
from other than the technical stuff. So I would say one of the personal experience, because Amazon review or interview people on the basis of their leadership principle, right? So one of the leadership principle is that every leader has a backbone, right? So one of the person in that 5 hour round definitely is going to ask a question that, tell us an incident where you had a confrontation with your manager, or like manager is asking you to do something but doesn't match with your moral decisions and all those things, and you simply avoid to work and something like that. So nobody want to say that I have an argument with my manager. Manager is always right, right, in corporate. So if somebody is going to say I never had a confrontation with my manager and I had a good manager and all, the definitely they will review it as a minus negative marking, because they think that probably either you don't have a backbone or you're lying. It's as simple as that. Otherwise you have to narrate some story, and they're gonna catch you in somewhere if you say manager asked me to do something on my off day, I was out for watching movie, he want me to work, I say sorry I can't work. Then probably they're gonna ask that, hey, it's a customer work, it has to be a priority, you should have work. And if you say I work without questioning my manager, then they say you don't have a backbone. So you have to understand that unless you have worked on something practically in real with a proper approach, you not going to get the positive marks for that particular kind of questions. So either it's a technical stuff or managerial stuff or behavioral, you're going to get stuck at some point.
Yeah, yeah, a very good point. I think, Rajendra, by the way, on a lighter note, you are revealing a lot of Amazon interview questions to us. So, in case any of us apply, we'll use this knowledge for our benefit, right? And Dr. Kavita, I think Suryansh brought up this very wonderful point about the skills that students should have. Going back to the objective of this webinar session itself about will AI replace job roles and all of that, we already, I think, as we are coming to the end of the session, I'm just trying to bring it together to say that yes, AI should be leveraged in the right spirit. Everybody should have an AI skill, whether at entry or exit level, retirement close, or fresh from the oven from a college. That all we spoke. But what are the additional skills? Problem solving, very important. And one more I will add is conflict resolution to what he said. So are you able to resolve a conflict? So give them scenarios. So this manager can be replaced by professor, and employee with student, and attendance is at risk. What will you do there? I mean, what kind of innovative solutions do you come up with? Right? So those kind of skills we should encourage, soft skills. And of course, the most important thing that I think students should have to survive is ethical communication. I'm using the word ethics everywhere. Speak with clarity and speak to the point. Speak with ethics and integrity. You will gain lot of respect. They will get jobs 100%. They may get a very slow starting salary, but they will have a lot of sustenance. That's what I would say.
Santi, maybe just to add in point in this communication, I would say storytelling is, even
Yes,
it has nothing to do with the tech world, but storytelling is a very, very important part when you are
exactly.
actually
I
getting
agree.
into field.
Yeah, we have some
I have
programs
done a
called
lot of
data storytelling. How
yes.
to tell a
So
story with data makes it
exactly.
even more authentic.
So
I
I
agree.
have done a lot of work. I have done really big work, but am I able to tell you in a proper story which you will be able to understand and correlate yourself? That's important. So what you have
Absolutely.
done, how big project you made, what problem you solve doesn't matter unless you are able to tell it like
Absolutely.
interestingly, so people take interest, ask question. Majorly I would say it's a framework. We call it STAR method. STAR, like situation, task, action, and result or response. So if uh, uh, your students understand that whatever they explain to someone, either it's an interview or examination or a general discussion, try to frame your answer in STAR method. It's easy to explain and people really understand that.
That's a very brilliant point. I think data story and the storytelling technique, I also agree. And I think Professor also, he was talking about engaging, right? I think the storytelling is what engages human minds, whether in AI era or, those Adam Eve era. I think we are all human beings, right? We like to listen to stories when it comes in a flow. So that is where you can engage with the audience. And when it experiential, it's even more attracting and engaging. I think those are the things, Kavita ma'am. I think students should be equipped. And again want to say that they need not get distracted about where war is happening, where AI is coming. Let them do their work of studying well right now, which is what they should do. I'm just telling this to the students, whoever is joining in this place, right? They have to do their focus on their studies. That is very important.
Yes, very true. So as we are moving to the end of the session, so one question I'm throwing open to all the panelists here. So whoever wish can answer. So this is a closing vision, I could say, or a closing remarks, I could say. If we meet again in 2030, we will look back at today as the start of workforce crisis or the greatest economic expansion in human history. What determines which path we take? So open to all. Anybody can.
So I think it will be a revolution once again, right? You may have a different set of alphabets in English from A to Z to name it like the way AI has come. It can be anything. Techno revolution is going to be there. The most important thing, along with other techniques that we said, is adaptation to the situation, right? Somebody who can quickly adapt to changes is a person who can succeed in life everywhere, be it a new place, new curriculum, new different thing, right? Adaptability and no complaining. I think lot of complaining, distractions about this is not okay, that is not okay, energy drains, right? If we come out of it and do it, it is going to be a rapid growth world is going to see, and we are all enjoying life much better than the quality of life has improved. It's, I think, in one's hands to make it better, Dr. Gautam.
I totally agree with Shanti ma'am. I wanted to see that word as well, but Shanti ma'am already said it. So adaptability is the key. Actually, it's the biggest thing. You have to adapt. You are adapting to different weathers in India, different parts, right? That's how you're surviving. Uh, you learning bicycle, riding bicycle, then bike, then probably car, then automatic car or something like that. You adapting to the different tech different situations, different environment, and AI is nothing but that you have to adapt it again. So AI is not taking your jobs, but definitely it will take, somebody else will take your jobs, like Samita said initially, who knows AI really well. So you have to adapt with the new tech. Right now it is AI, then agentic, then there'll be something else. You adapt yourself, keep yourself upgrade, and you'll be in the market for a really long.
Also, one more thing I feel like a lot of students lack is being inquisitive. The curious mind that you have to put it to use. You have to question a lot of things on how this is working, how that is working. It also aligns with adaptability, because once you get comfortable with what you're doing and when you're not questioning more, then it's very difficult for you to adapt and move on further. So be inquisitive and question stuff. Like if you just read an article randomly that says there is a new technology that's coming today, we are not just stopping with agentic. We are seeing if AGI is a possibility, if what is, what else is going to be in the future. So I think being inquisitiveness is one step closer for you to start at your AI journey if you're still not into that.
And that's again a very brilliant point, Shametha. And I truly appreciate whatever perspectives you are giving, because you are probably the closest in age to the current generation. So, whatever, I don't want to comment on others' ages, but I think what you are sharing is probably what is truly happening in your life, right? Like we may be talking about from others' experiences. So, your inputs are truly valuable. See, one thing I just wanted, when I talked about adaptation, changes, all of that, right? See, I mean, the last how many ever years we are old today, we might have seen so many shifts. COVID disruption was the biggest shift that, we all have seen in life. You don't even know what is going to happen, right? Lockdown, online, what is going to happen? And today we are all successful. I'm sure we learned a lot of lessons. So we have to take it in a solution mode than complaining mode. That's an attitude soft skill part of it, I wanted to say. It's not a technical skill but a soft skill. If somebody has it, they can equally very fastly navigate through these changes and revolutions.
Shanti ma'am, I think it's very evident you've really managed a large workforce in your career because all these soft
Thank
skills that you're talking about, although very early in my career, I can totally see the value of all this advice that you're giving.
thank
Uh,
you.
but just as my concluding remarks, there's a quote by Sir Isaac Newton, one of my favorites. Right, it is, if I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Right, and the essence of that quote, directly relates to the era that we're in today. And I want to bring this point up because, like Shanti ma'am, even I have experienced a lot of this, while hiring, while working with young, folks in my company. Is that we have this habit of really, at times, and I'm talking about brilliant talent out there. We have this habit of over engineering, right? And we always go down and start questioning the fundamentals, which is a good thing in most cases, right? However, just to give you an example, let's say, as an engineering student, if you're performing differentiation using chain rule, every time you apply chain rule, you're not going and deriving it, right? You are taking it on face value that this chain rule stands the test of time, and that is why it works, right? So many a times, even when I'm speaking to my engineering team or my AI research team, questioning fundamentals is a great thing, but also understanding how to leverage what has been built, whether that is technology or whether that are processes. It is very important to get that jump start from there, right? So even Rajendra mentioned at some point that, learn about neural networks, learn about machine learning algorithms, learn about what post training is. There's so much to learn out there, right? The 28,000 research papers being published every month. But the real question is, how are you amalgamating all of this information? How are you taking it on face value? How are you experiencing it in real life? And then wrapping it all up as a wrapper, and then using that in the industry to perform valuable actions That is where the core skill lies, right? So stand on the shoulders of giants. Today, the giants are the likes of Anthropic, OpenAI, DeepMind, etc. So leverage the tools that they have built, use them, and take it further. That is where real innovation truly lies.
Also, another thing that I have personally experienced is your college time is the best time for you to explore the kind of role you want to get yourself into corporate. Obviously you can change your role from a software engineer to a data engineer and then to an AI engineer and all of that. But when you start in college, now you choose the streams. After in later in your career, you have to make a shift, you have to make yourself equipped with those knowledge and shift. But in college is where you can explore, you can put your hands in every single bucket and see which one you like better. And with AI, that is even more easier. You can explore all of those things. It will hardly take you a weekend to build a new project in a completely new domain that you don't know anything about. So now is the time where you can really like kickstart your career and choose which path you want to go, rather than starting very late in your career, I feel.
Yeah, and I think I really like that keyword of time, right? Shametha, the current generation, the challenge is how do you use your 24 hours in a day, right? That is where the biggest challenge is, right? We use it in what things that you require, it's for your good, then it is good, right? There are so many avenues, and I really like the way Suryansh also spoke about. And as you rightly said, I think if you are not challenged or if you are not coming out of your status quo or comfort zone, you will not discover your new self anytime, anytime. So I think we should be challenged. We should live up to the challenge. We should succeed. We should inspire each other and move on. That's how
I
it
think the best way to manage time in this aspect is shift your screen time from your mobile to your laptop. I think 90% of your problems get solved there.
and start watching on a bigger screen, Shamita. That is what people. No, it is
That's not
my
what I meant.
no, no, I'm just
Yeah.
saying it lightly, but that is why I really like you speaking about it, because people can see the problem is by the time you realize that college is the best time to do all this, you're in your mid 40s. You can only visit your college as an outsider. You can no more get into the college. See, if you are blessed, then and there you realize what you should do. Life moves on. You may not, all of us may not become like Bill Gates or someone, but we are happy the way we are doing. That is the biggest testimony of any success, right? It is not about building castles or something. Are you happy with life? You are successful. That's it. You may be doing any job. That's all it is. Yeah.
And
Even
one more
in
thing I
the
feel like
market of
is the
greatness.
colleges also have a responsibility in encouraging the students. For example,
Yeah.
a session like this is going to help a lot of students who know nothing, don't have a proper guidance. The college from which I did my alma mater also, we were encouraged to participate in hackathons. We were encouraged to have a tech club. So stuff like this is where students are exposed to new technologies, or for I know students who don't know what a hackathon is when they initially step into college. I know students who still know that okay, there is AI means chat GPT asking questions about what I can cook for dinner, which is the best place to visit in Bangalore and all of that, and they don't know how to implement that in coding. So I think few colleges are already up there, like Sanjivani University also. But I think colleges also share equal responsibility to exposing students to this kind of ever changing technology.
Agreed completely.
Today we are discussing at the platform of university, and we are discussing just to bring out something for the betterment of students. And I think, and I would like to conclude this session by saying we should make some ecosystem of adaptability, and we should take the adaptability as a one of the most important skill of the student, that we should teach our student how they should be ready for getting the new things, to adopt the new things, about the changing in the market, because we should be ready for the market change. Market will not stop for us. So I think we should take this session as a to conclude that we should make an ecosystem of
very much for accepting our invite on behalf of Sanjivani University. So, at a short time also, hope you were accepting our invite and being here. Thank you very much for all the panelists, and over to the anchoring team for further. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, every expert present here today. I guess it was really fun session and very fun discussion. And like, I guess as a student, what two key takeaways I can take that from today's session, the importance of being genuine and well prepared for during interviews is one of the key takeaway. And the second key takeaway can be that AI is not here to replace us, but it is here to transform us. So today's session has not just answered our questions, but it has opened new perspective. And I'm damn sure each and every student and participant present here today might have helped them with their whatever questions were they facing in their student life and also as a freshie life. And now to move forward, I would like to request everyone to please share your valuable feedback with us, as the feedback form has been sent in the chat. And also, as we come towards the conclusion of today's this insightful session, I would like to invite Dr. Surbit Shukla, Sir, coordinator of the panel discussion, to propose the vote of thanks.
Okay, thank you, Shali. Thank you invite me for vote of thanks. First of all, very good afternoon to everyone. On the behalf of the School of Engineering and Technology and IEEE student branch, Sanjivani University, it is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks for today panel discussion and AI workflow resolution. What we have, we are getting these questions from our university student, and we have seen confidence in energy among the our student to know about the AI and all the things. And more than 4,000 students giving question. That question we already discussed. That question we are putting with our expert also. So all the students getting their vision and the goal and how they are achieving their knowledge and how improve their skill set also. So and also thank to the Vice Chancellor sir, Dr. AJ Thakur, our Chairman sir, Dr. Jitendra Thakur, Kole and Amit Kole sir for the providing such opportunity and the infrastructure there where we can do such kind of beneficial online guest panel discussion where we have experts from different organizations and co-founders and founders are involving in this panel discussion. And I also thanking Star sir, Amol Sir, all health of the department and all working faculties also. They are working well with our students to improve this session and working with our student also. And also thanking Sanjeevani University to provide this platform. Thank you. And thank you for our team also was working well for this event also. Thank you.
Also, before parting our ways, I would like to request every expert today to please switch on their cameras so we can take a virtual photograph. Thank you so much, everyone. Everyone who is present, please fill the feedback. Thank you so much, everyone.